Whoa, boy! These AI videos are getting just a little bit too ridiculous, but I think honest in their depictions of what's really going on here. Trump's a very savvy guy there, so of course he's willing to do anything and everything to save his good old buddy that now allegedly he's calling a madman. What in the world is going on here? As right now in the making of this video, the Prime Minister of Israel is being interviewed by the Nelk Boys. And as you can see by the comment section here, this is definitely stirring up some people online here, as there's a lot to talk about, especially with the very ever so aggressive military actions being taken by the Israelis, as of course they are bombing a lot of places all around them. And the White House allegedly is not happy about this. Is this true? Or is this a part of another kind of PSYOP disinformation campaign like we saw earlier this year? That's meant to, of course, be a precursor towards a bigger action. What's really going on here? Well, we're going to be doing our best to try to answer that and a lot more. And if you appreciate these type of videos, subscribe. Click the notification button, as, of course, we have a lot to get into. All of this, as right now we have this reporting from Axios, and whatever you might say about Axios, some of their stuff sometimes is just absolutely wrong. But when it comes to some of the biggest stories this year, their sources are pretty legit. Let's just be real with ourselves here, as they confirm a lot of the stuff right before it happens. And again, this is based off anonymous sources, so take it with a grain of salt here, as I have my own reaction to this. But they are reporting that the White House is alarmed by Benjamin Netanyahu's decision in Syria, as now multiple officials in Trump's administration were quoted Sunday as saying that they were branding the prime minister as a madman and a, quote, child who just won't behave. This is also confirmed by the Times of Israel, and Axios is reporting this, as right now, just a few days ago, we had the Mossad director in Washington, D.C., seeking the United States help at moving the Palestinians and making them migrants. As, of course, there's a plan here that will take all of the people from that region, from Gaza, and they'll just put them everywhere. They'll put them in Canada, they'll put them in Europe, they'll put them in the United States, they might put some in Europe, they might put some in Jordan, and oh, look at that! You got more land and space here that's now ours. How convenient. They just left. Through a specific, very devastating military campaign that is, of course, and many times denying humanitarian aid and causing a little bit of a problem there. As Axios has this report, he's a madman. Trump's team's frets about Netanyahu over Syrian strikes. Now, we have seen very similar rhetoric. This is my only kind of like questioning of this story, whether it's true or not, because it's important to note here that we have seen a very similar action. We have seen very similar rhetoric leading up to the strikes against Iran. And right before the strikes in Iran, Donald Trump was making very kind of pointed statements. There was a lot of leaks within the White House. There was a lot of reporting from the Times of Israel saying Trump's not happy. Trump wants a ceasefire. Trump is going to put Israel in check. Trump is going to, of course, finally make sure that there's peace in the region. He's going to stop the Israelis. The Israelis are going too far. The Israelis are going to be stopped. I'm like, okay. And then that was done as a way to foster more economic deals in the Middle East and also make sure that the Iranians were, quote, made to feel safe. Made to feel safe, so they let down their defenses so the Israelis and the Americans could launch an intel-supported sneak attack inside of Iran, as well as a full-on military campaign that bombed the crap out of them, all at the same time. It was a very similar action to what happened in Russia with what a lot of people also believe to be directly helped U.S. intelligence activity when it comes to their sabotage attacks of trucks that had drones on them that just flew off and then took out their nuclear-capable fighter bombers. Very similar types of attacks happen in both countries, as of course that's something that Putin has been talking about, mentioning here, and it's part of the reason as Putin was saying, hey, guys, don't bomb Iran. They bombed Iran. Why there isn't really a deal being worked out here that I think should be worked out in Ukraine, and why that conflict is also being prolonged here. Now, my question is, if this is really the case here, and if this is not a disinformation campaign, automatically my instincts are disinformation campaign, fake news. This is, again, the Trump White House setting up the groundwork for something bigger, for something grander here, for a big type of conflict. And we see Donald Trump go to the Middle East, set up these kind of Middle Eastern countries, do some economic deals, do some type of situations where, of course, they all work and cooperate together. And then Israel comes in and they act like the bad guy. Good cop, bad cop when it comes to the conquest and the kind of redesign of the Middle East, which, of course, is being redesigned right now in favor of Israel. But that redesigning, that type of expansion, because we are seeing the expansion of the Israeli state. We have also seen it expand significantly over the Syrian territory in the Golan Heights region. Now we might even see it throughout all of the south of Syria, especially with the Druze that the Israelis really like. Not the Jays, the Druze. Now, before talking about that and a lot more, we, of course, wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. We got a lot of great products available to you. You can get 15% off by signing up to our email list. A lot of these products are, of course, carefully crafted. We make sure to work with some of the best people that produce some of the best products out there, as, of course, you could get things like tea. We still have a few. I think we only have 10. We only have 10 lemon ginger tea bags available, as, of course, our tagline is don't get tea bagged. Why? Because most tea bags have microplastics in them. And when you try to drink tea, and this was my frustration. This was a long time in the making. IRS came and took everything from me, and I'm like, okay, I got to think of a service that I could provide you that's actually good. Now, I was like, what service do I need? What service do I want? And I'm like, I like tea. I'm Polish, Slavic people, European people. We love our tea. And I'm like, everywhere I go, oh, the can. Oh, that's lined with microplastics. Okay, I'll brew my own. Oh, the thing has microplastics in it. Okay, fine. I'll cut up the bag. Oh, still it's contaminated. Oh, okay, still. All right, fine. Let me get the loose leaf. Oh, wow. Even that I have to design my own. And that's what we did here. We designed our own tea, and this tea, really great, really awesome. It's organic lemon ginger tea, and we just sold out of our peach tea. We are hoping to, we're resupplying right now. It's just taking a while to resupply here, but we're almost out of our lemon ginger tea, and it's really good tea. We just brewed some. We have some in the refrigerator, and if you want iced tea, just brew it, put it in the refrigerator. That's what I do. I'm like, I really want good, clean, awesome tea. And this is, of course, the best way to do it. So get it at wearechange.shop and support this independent media network at the same time. Now, let's get back to this news here of what is happening here. As, of course, there's a lot of action by the Israelis. They bombed the Houthis. They bombed Lebanon. They've bombed Syria. They recently bombed Iran with the full help and assistance and aid of the United States that pretty much did everything for them. We paid for it. Paid about $2 billion. Well, we're gone. Pew. As right now, White House sources are saying Bibi acted like a madman. He bombed everything all the time. One White House official told Axios, referring to Netanyahu by his nickname. This could undermine what Trump is trying to do. Now, again, we've seen this. Trump, I'm coming in the Middle East. We're going to get Middle East peace. We're going to stop the fire. We're going to stop the Gaza war. We're going to stop all the wars. As Trump is speaking, Israel is literally bombing Gaza. They bombed a hospital as Trump's giving a speech. That was a good optics. That was a good disinformation campaign that fooled a lot of people, including us. All right? Because we were like, okay, let's look at the official sources. Let's look at what the White House to say. Confirm. Okay, yeah, okay. But then it was a part of a disinformation campaign, which was pretty dastardly and worked pretty well. Okay? Say what you may about it, but it worked pretty well. As now a second senior U.S. official also pointed to the shelling of a church in Gaza this week, which led President Trump to call Netanyahu and demand an explanation. The feeling is that every day there is something new. What the F? Quote, allegedly Donald Trump asked Bibi Netanyahu. A third U.S. official said there's growing skepticism inside the Trump administration about Netanyahu, a sense that his trigger finger is too itchy and he's too disruptive. Netanyahu is sometimes like a child who just won't behave. Netanyahu's spokesperson, Ziv MADMAN did not respond to a request for comment. Oh, very convenient. As of course, I still think this is all a ploy here. Now, the Israelis are acting very, very aggressive. There was also supposed to be another corruption trial that stopped because of Bibi having an upset stomach. He's like, oi, I got the mud butt, and then I can't do the trial. And they're like, okay, we have to postpone it. Steve Bannon had a very interesting take on all of this. This is what he had to say.
This weekend, folks, the Times of Israel, okay, not exactly War Room, the Times of Israel, Axios, and Mediaite all did huge stories of how the White House has had a bellyful of Netanyahu, that he's out of control, not just pushing for a continuation of regime change war with the Persians, but he's out of control everywhere, from shelling Catholic churches to what's going on. And instead of being focused in Gaza, just kind of random violence in Gaza all over. And the description from the White House is he's a madman. Okay, Tulsi Gabbard has been getting lit up because the CIA, in conjunction with the Mossad, came up with the urgency that we had to get into it with the Persians. This week.
Yeah. Listen, this is my initial reaction to all of this. Why aren't you saying it publicly? Why do we have to do these back channels like we did last time? That was a part of the disinformation campaign to launch a bigger war. So I think this is my kind of spidey senses. This is what I'm feeling here, and I hope I'm wrong. I think this is another disinformation campaign meant to allow Israel now to expand their operations into Syria. Okay? We've seen Donald Trump go to Syria and say, hey, guys, let's make a deal. We'll lift sanctions. But you allow Israel to shoot down Iranian missiles over your airspace. We know you guys used to be very close with Iran. You cut off those ties. You make sure you go after the Shiite militias in that region. And you make sure that you help us with this war in Iran. And Syria was like, okay. Then the sanctions were lifted. And now there was Sunni, Saudi Arabian kind of linked Islamists that came after the Druze population in the south of Syria. And the Druze are very loved by the Israelis. But also, it's the perfect excuse of the Israelis to open up the Golan Heights region and to also, quote, help protect the Jews. And also gives them a perfect excuse to kind of come into the region. Now, Turkey's pissed off. Turkey's like, what are you... Stop it. They're not going to be able to do anything here. As this kind of conflict is expanding, as we are getting this reporting that Netanyahu is seeking to prolong the Gaza conflict. And of course, he has been doing that for quite a long time here. And he wants to do it until the elections, which, of course, is very politically convenient for him. As, of course, there are a lot of Israelis that are not happy with him, that want to see him go, that have been protesting him. And guess what? October 7th happened. And then every time, and we were supposed to have a corruption trial. That never happened. And now every time we get close towards this corruption trial, oh, we have war in Iran. We got to postpone that. Then Donald Trump got involved. Said, hey, postpone this trial. And then they postponed the trial. And then they're like, okay, we're going to have a trial. And they say, oh, we're bombing Syria now. We got to protect the Druze. We're bombing Syria. We got to postpone the trial. And now it's like, oh, I got a gut issue. We got to postpone the trial. Why can't the Israeli people actually get their trial? I mean, this guy has been in charge forever. This guy went to Washington, D.C. and told us, Iraq, not Iran, Iraq, weapons of mass destruction. They have nuclear weapons. They're going to target you. They're going to bomb New York. Stop them now. That really didn't work in our favor. It worked really great towards disrupting the Middle East and creating a forever conflict and destroying our reputation on the world. Why do we do that? Why do we go after Iraq that wasn't really friendly towards Israel? Why did we do that? As the ex-defense minister in Israel is coming out and saying, yeah, he's going to be prolonging this conflict as there are internal pressures that are directed at this premier to end the war. But he understands as soon as this war is over, he's done. He's done. Okay? Politically, he is done. And he knows, I just got to keep this war going. I could postpone my corruption trial. And this is a very messy, kind of crazy situation that Donald Trump has given the full stamp of approval on and then launched personal messages on Truth Social saying, guys, postpone his trial. Keep him in power. Bibi's awesome. Bibi's great here. As right now, the Israelis are launching an air and ground offensive inside of central Gaza as we are speaking right now. And there's always a lot of updates here, as we have to understand here the situation is extremely tumultuous. It's extremely crazy, wild, and it's only going to get crazier and wild here. Now, a lot of the military offenses that are being done by Israel are being fully aided and supported by the United States, by your tax dollars. Yeah, you're doing it. You know, Israelis get to have essentially socialism because they don't have to pay for their warfare. They still pay for some of their warfare, but vast majority of the costs are us. We're just paying for it. Why are we doing that? Things are expensive here. As now we are getting reports from the British Broadcasting Company that 67 Palestinians, quote, seeking aid in northern Gaza have lost their lives here, according to Hamas-run ministry. Now, again, we can't believe anybody during these particular conflicts. There's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of people just lying, and who knows what in the world's going on here, but it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear here that the Israelis have a little bit of an advantage. They're a little bit of the big guy. They're a little bit of the bully. Say what you may. In this particular situation, agree or disagree with me, they definitely have the technological, monetary, full backing support of the world's largest military in the world. That, of course, is also aiding and abetting and fully supporting them every aspect of this conflict, including arming them, defending them, and some people saying acting like a proxy vessel state. Other people are saying that the inverse is true here. Now, other things that are happening, it's not just an expansion of the conflict in Syria, in Lebanon, in Gaza, but also now an expansion of the conflict in Yemen, as the Israelis just decided to strike significant territories within Yemen. Now, the Yemenis still have been launching kind of like pop shots. They've been launching drones. I don't think we've gotten any reports of those drones being ever successful. I think we once saw pavement hit, but the Israelis are hitting, they hit the Houthi-led port here, and there's been many significant attacks against the Houthis that are also in the region. Of course, the region is a little tumultuous. Let's just say that. As the Iranian deputy foreign minister says that, of course, Iran will not be planning on stopping the enrichment of uranium. There's going to be some now conversations with European countries, and now that conflict could expand at any time, at any moment here. But I think what we're seeing here is a perpetual state of war here that will be slowly and surely kind of ebbing and flowing. So I think we have seen this. This has been a conflict. This has been a war that has been going on for an extremely long time. A conflict that will be prolonged and expanded, but started many years ago. And it started in a way where the Israelis are like, okay, first we got to overthrow the Syrian government. Then we got to make sure we do the pager thing with them. Then we got to implant all those drones in Iran. And if you think, and this is the kind of misnomer here, and a lot of people are like, it's one and done, guys. We're in and out. It's just going to be one strike. That's it. If you think that's the case here, you're a fool or a propagandist, either or. But you're not paying attention to what's going on here. And that's the important aspect of all of this that I think we need to understand here, as Donald Trump is posting truth social messages from AIPAC, with them thanking them from preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. America must be clear. No enrichment, no missiles, or no deal with Iran. As, of course, Donald Trump kept changing the deal during negotiations. First, it was no nukes. Then it was like, okay, no enrichment. Okay, no ballistic missiles now. And they're like, wait, what? And then the negotiations were stalling. And then Donald Trump gave them 50 days as he kept changing the narrative, changing the goalpost. And then he's like, oh, you didn't comply to all of our list of the demands that we keep changing and expanding and growing from here. Boom, we're bombing you. And say what you may. People are like, successful, one and done. Well, no. We have to understand here, there's multiple steps. There's multiple layers to this. And we have to understand here, this is going to, of course, expand and continue from here in many different ways here. As, of course, this war against protecting the Druze in Syria, that is cover for larger expansions, larger conflicts. I think this is another disinformation effort meant to put the guard down in the Middle East so Israel could now act more aggressively. The United States could save face here. They could be the good guys, but they still aid and abet. And again, unless Donald Trump actually does some legitimate actions here, unless he says, okay, we're cutting you off. If you really want to stop these conflicts, you would just cut them off. You'd say no more weapons. You're launching these conflicts with all of our weapons. No more weapons. They won't be able to launch the conflicts if Donald Trump really wants that. And that's why I think we should be a little bit skeptical of the news reports that we are hearing here, that we are now being inundated with here. So this conflict in the Middle East is still not over, still a bigger clash of civilizations, and it's only going to expand from here, like we told you it was. So yeah, in the meantime, get to yourself some tea. Look at that, happy mascot. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.